everyone else. Let's get into the next podcast.
Brick by brick. Most of us don't know how to really build and really retain money in our neighborhoods. We've always been taught uh, pretty much to go get a job without any kind of savings plan. So in this post, in this blog, in this podcast, what I'm going to attempt to do today is to give you an idea of why we should save, and really let's call it why we should build, because saving is not building, saving is holding. We need to build. So the first, I got to get rid of a couple of myths. The first one is your job won't do it. I know people think that they're going to save money and the job, you can count on a raise, and in 5 years, I mean, you always hear some L7s kind of going through life saying, I'm going to be here. You hear a lot of government workers talking about, I'm a GS this and I'm a GS that, and wait 10 years and I'm a GS this, and really it's a whole bunch of BS, partner. But you can't count on your job. Your job pays you just enough for you to maintain your current living. You will always, if they give you extra $400, give yourself 3 months, you're going to find a way to spend that extra $400. So let's not ever talk about that like that's a real option. The second one is, people think they're going to save. It takes a really disciplined person to save. I myself, I saved for my first car. That's about the last time I saved anything. Really, I'm trying to get you to the rich man's saving plan, and that is we make way more money than we can ever spend. That's what we're doing here. We're building. We're talking about how we can have so much a surplus of money that we're not going to worry about saving. Saving just happens to be that we're content with life, and chips are still coming in. You dig? So first, let's go back to the old school way. I don't know if you grew up like me, but this is an old school way, and I'm going to add a little bit of, 2009, 2010 Freeman theory on top of it. But we always grew up with people, probably your grandmother, your mother, everyone telling you to buy a piece of property and rent it out and keep it within the family, right? And that's how you build wealth. These cats weren't lying. Some of these old ways still work, and the idea of going to purchase yourself one house. In my family, we grew up with the idea of purchase one house per kid. Pretty much you want to make sure the child has a house for themselves. This house will also pay for them to go through college. This house is a source. Really, no matter what kind of kid we have, no matter what happens to our family, one of us, someone's going to have a place to stay. And that was most important, But actually what we were doing in a not so, I guess you want to call it, educated way, because we weren't thinking about it as building a business or building our own wealth way. We were thinking about it more of we don't know what the world's going to throw at us, so let's take care of our family mentality. I think we could do the same thing, but let me add a little bit onto it. What I'm going to tell you to do is this: in order to build, in order to build a foundation, we need to have a money maker. Whether that be in your family, you might call it a breadwinner. But when we're talking about business, we're talking about a business that really brings in cash. See, some people start a business and they bring in little Peasley money here and there. They're not really concentrating on their hustle in order to really stack chips. If you are going to go into business just kind of secondhand, lollygagging, you know what I'm saying, this is fun kind of thing, then I'm pretty sure you're going to make it anyway, But, I'm really talking about building bricks here. I'm building foundation. I don't want to talk about that small thing. I want to talk about something big. So what I'm trying to tell you to do is this. This is the plan. You need to start one business. And this one business needs to be a transaction-based business. And what I mean by transaction, I mean cash flipping fast, partner. Not this little, my stocks are going to appreciate. My 401k is going to be there when I get there at the end. I'm not talking about all that Chauncey stuff. I'm talking about what can we do? What can you do, partner, right now that's going to start bringing in chips? Because in order to do these things, we need chips. So most things start off with food, clothing, and shelter. And that's the easiest ones to go into. Food, do something real simple, start a small restaurant, or if you ain't even that big, start a restaurant. I promise you, ladies, we got some people that come through our barbershop, And this lady brings in sandwiches and cookies and they're homemade. She hitting us up for $5 a pop and everybody paying for them. So she might walk out of there with $200, $300 a day. Now, all the squares that are in their job think that they probably doing better than her, but realistically, she's making way more money than everybody else. $300 a day times 5 is $1,500. A person who makes $30,000 a month, your entry-level job barely brings home probably around $1,500 a month. This lady's out here doing it just from baking cookies, you dig? Something to think about. But what I want you to do with that money, once you start a good business, of course, go buy that first house. But the way I'm telling you to go buy the house is going to be different. Don't go and buy a house in an expensive neighborhood. Why are you buying a house like that? You really need to buy one as an income property. And you need to be someplace, really, I'm going to hit you even more, go to someplace where they're accepting Section 8. Get you a house in the area where Section 8 is available. What I mean by that is you can have a Section 8 house anywhere. I mean, you can just find Section 8 people. But if you're in the area where there's already a lot of people who need housing, you pick up those houses. Most likely they're cheap. They're not expensive. And what I want you to do is go look through the foreclosure rolls right now. It's an excellent time if you have foreclosure. They're selling these houses. The banks are selling some of these houses for $5,000 to $6,000. 3-bedroom, 1 bath. They're selling for $5,000 to $6,000. If you were to get one of those, 2 of those, find some contractor to clean it up. He's not going to charge you more than $3,000 to get it cleaned up, especially if it's a brick house. Get a brick house. But 3-bedroom, 1 bath, brick house, and you get the contractor to fix it up. Then you go ahead and you rent it out to someone on Section 8. The reason why I advocate Section 8 is the money is guaranteed from the government. You're not making a deal with this person. You're making a deal with the government to provide housing. Now, I know some of you are scared. You think Section 8, I don't know if you think they're going to defecate on the wall or turn into a drug house. But you know, there's plenty of people who are out of luck this time. It's not just your recovering drug addict or the perpetually misguided or miserable. We're talking about regular families that are really just out of luck this time. It's a lot of people looking for places to stay. So what I want you to do is once you get this Section 8 house, you get it up. I'm calling it Section 8 house. You can call it whatever. The reason why I advocate the Section 8 so much over regular rent, you're in a market where people can rent. You got plenty of people renting right now. The thing that separates most people right now who's getting rented is going to be people who are doing it for poor people, doing it for Section 8. You're going to get to be able to write this off. It's going to be a good business move for you. You can get a holding company with all your properties. We can do big things. Let me give you the big hustle behind the houses. For every rent, let's say you get a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, you rent it for $1,000. The bank, once you get it rented, now you probably bought it for $5,000. The bank has to look at it and say, wow, they're renting it for $12,000 a year. The house, they're going to have to say the house is pretty much worth $120,000. That's how they define how much the house is worth, by what you can rent it for, not what you bought it for. So you bought it at $5,000. They think, oh, you can get $1,000 rent out of this. That means it's worth at least $100,000. So keep that in mind, because that's how you're going to build equity. That's how you're going to get ahead of these cats. Because if you got 10 houses like that, you only had to pay, $50,000 if you did it $5,000 a pop. But on the books, partner, you look $1 million strong. In order to the bank, you look like you got $1 million in equity. This is how these cats get rich. This is how they build wealth. Everybody else is telling us to do some other stupid stuff, but this is how these cats build wealth. They know this hustle. I'm trying to tell you this hustle. So if you bought 5 houses and you got $1,000 rent, to the bank you're $500,000 strong. When the houses go up, you got all the equity. You own these houses outright, partner. Don't get those mortgages. That's why I'm telling you to go ahead and save some money and buy it outright. That's why I'm telling you to start a business first, because you need the cash to come in order to buy these things like this. Do not forsake the rule. Do not put the 2 before the 1. Do not go into this thing bass backwards, you dig? Do not do the other. People think, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to start a business. The business is most important. Chips have to come in, partner. This is important. People always think, oh, I'm going to sit here. And let me give you the basic reason why the business is most important. Anything can happen tomorrow in the business. When I started my business, right, I was sitting there and I was chugging along. Then an opportunity came up that just blew my socks. I was running for 4 months straight, chips running in lovely. I didn't know what was going on. But I thank God that I had my business open. Now, what if I would have did it the other way? What if I said, oh, I'm going to go buy a house, I'm going to sit on and rent it? I would have never been in in the avenue on the street where the opportunity could happen. This is why business is more important than everything else. This is why I'm making this money. Because if you would have started off like most people do, they think a business, I'm going to do it after I do this. No other thing, no other avenue allows for chips to come in like that. A house doesn't. You only got one. You're only going to get 1,000 for it. Then you got to re-up and go back and get a second house and a third house and a fourth house. But me sitting here with one little business, whether that be a hot wing spot or a car wash or anything, the opportunity for me to blow up is out there. Do not forsake the rule. Do not put the cart before the horse. So many cats get into this game and they start stacking, but they don't understand that they need something to keep money coming in. Because like you see with most people who lost their house this time, they thought, oh, I got all this equity. The bank can zero that out. But what if he had cash? The bank can't do nothing. In fact, they're going to say, Brother Freeman, come on in, and what can we do for you today? Bad times, good time. Brother Freeman, do you need some more credit? You're trustworthy. We see the money's in the bank. We see that you're stacking chips, partner. You know what I'm saying? So this is why do not let these other idiots tell you that this house thing is more important. The business is first. The housing is second. That's why I said I combined it with the old school room for our folks from a long time ago. They told you how to get this game, but we just skipped it. We just like to, I don't know, we in the era of dummies. And that's what I really call it. You know, you see a man with a $200,000 Bentley, a Phantom, and this idiot doesn't know that these cars are meant to have drivers. People are not using their brain. Let me give you this, because I was going to use this on another podcast, but I might as well give you a little tidbit of it right now. If you were sitting in a Bentley or a Phantom, everybody remember those Grey Poupon commercials, right? Remember when the two old white folks pulled up on the side of each other and they said, pardon me, do you have some Grey Poupon? They didn't do that from the front seat, partner. These cars are supposed to have a driver. They have all the stuff in the back. This is how ignorant cats are nowadays. They just don't even see that they out here being I'm not going to curse on you. They're just being idiots. Do not put the cart before the horse. Do not sit in the front of the limo driving thinking you pimping, partner. Come on, man. You need to sit in the back and have somebody else take care of it. That's what rich people do. That's what wealth looks like, partner. Their time is so important, they don't even got time to put their hand on the steering wheel. But y'all over here driving, and that's what I say. We need to learn. I'm here for that. I don't mean to put you down, partner. I just want you to rewind the tape, listen to it again, and come up a little bit. Going back to the main focus, we need to build our foundations brick by brick. We need to start off with the things that makes the bricks, you dig? Money makes the bricks. What brings in money? Then we need to stabilize it. This is the mortar in between. We buy those houses because we don't know if our business is going to pay off forever, every day, if it's going to be a good day. But when we have one, we buy a couple of houses, we stabilize it, $1,000 rent, Section 8, get back up, right? Come back in once we got this money, $3,000 strong every month. We take some of this money, we go right back into the business to build it again. We were once on the block in a little cart. Now we got now we got a kiosk. Now we got a little spot in the mall. We got to move up. If you're sitting on the bottom, we ain't going to make it. You got to move up with your chips. You got to move up with your thinking. You know what I'm saying? Now, once the business hits 6,000, you might have 2 spots open. Take that money back. Go buy 6 more houses. You dig? Because if the business fails, and sometimes they fail, partner, I mean, it's not guaranteed that we always going to make chips forever. But the houses won't. The people renting it, they will always rent. You dig? You can always find somebody else. If the property value goes up, you bought it for 5, the property value goes up to 60, you could sell those houses. I wouldn't. I'm going to tell you I wouldn't. Okay, I'm going to tell you straight out. I believe in building a legacy for my family. I believe in standing on my own 2 forever. So I don't believe in letting my things go. You don't see me. I'm not one of those cats you're going to come around and you're going to find out Freeman sold Fat Farm. You dig? If Freeman sold Rockaware. I'm rolling with a legacy though for my family. Now I know what they're saying. Hey, look, I got 200 million and I was only making 40 million a year. But you don't hear Calvin Klein selling their stuff. I mean, you can't build if you're selling everything, partner. People think that they're gonna, I don't get how you think that. If I had 20 rims in the rim shop, right? And they were all my rims and they're worth and they're appreciated. I'm just using rims for basic understanding. If it's not my job, if my job is to stack these things like the whole baseball card, that's a better one, football card, and they appreciate in value, why am I giving away my wealth? Why am I giving away the things that make money for today's money? If you do not have another way to make money, and this is what most of these small-time cats who think so small and they game and they hustle, they think, I'm going to get this, flip that, come back, get this, build up, do this, flip that, get this, and these cats don't build nothing. They end up being cash rich and dumb in their brain. Now, you might have a lot of cash on hand, but they don't know how to build. So what they doing? They hoping they don't get rid of it. So they go right back into the flipping game. This is a street hustle mentality applied to a new level. You can't let your street hustle mentality, it's good for the hustling to get out there and get it, but it ain't good for building. Because in the street hustle mentality, we cop and blow, you dig? Now we don't want to do that. We want to go ahead and build. So you got to hold on to your properties. You got to hold on to your businesses. I get calls about my business. I just got one last month where someone was coming to buy me out. And they were trying to talk to me about how it could work out. And I bluntly told them, I'm not selling nothing to you. I don't want to work for any of you people. Let's put it that way, because I'm trying to keep it PG for the kids. You dig? But I don't want to work for anybody. I wake up in the morning, I can do this rise and grind. I can do whatever I want. That's what money brings. And I'm still stacking, partner. I'm buying these things that I'm telling you. This is why I'm telling you firsthand now. I'm giving you good game, not some lame thing that somebody else is telling me. I didn't read this in the book. What I'm telling you is practical application of what I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? I'm really trying to build something. Like I said, a legacy for my family. For my nieces, for my nephews, for my brothers, for my sisters, for my third cousins, partner. I'm thinking about how I'm going to build a whole empire for all of us. I got the hustle. You do too. So when you think about how we're going to build, do not get caught up in all the stupidity you see on TV. These cats telling you to put your money into a bank and get 1%. I'm telling you, take your money and put it in other things that make money. That's what wealthy people do. That's how they stack. They don't put their money in some bank that say 1%. They say, you know what, let me sit down and let me go buy some property. And they said it's such a cheap rate, let's get it up here. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. They accumulate a portfolio. Y'all understand portfolio because y'all all got conned in that mutual fund game. You dig? I got plenty more podcasts coming for you, partner. The Rise and Grind show is definitely, I'm going to give you all I got. I'm going to make you understand what I see. You're going to see what I see and be what I be, you dig? So, to wrap it up, do not sell your stuff. Stack it up. Get yourself a business. The business is the money maker. To solidify the business, you take your chips, you buy a house. One that in a bad, I mean, you don't have to be bad. It can just be in a low income area. Those are cheaper houses. Do not get a mortgage. Stack your chips until you can buy that sucker outright. You dig? Do not get a mortgage. Most people are buying a house to pay off a mortgage. So they double, you understand what I mean? Double negative. We got to find a way to buy the house for $5,000, for $7,000, right? Then clean it up. We don't pay nothing. It's just all pure cash, you dig? Think in those terms as we move forward. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to disseminate this information out to you so our race, our people, our folk are not suckers to the game. We're not consumers. We're not customers. We run things, partner. You understand? Hit me up on the next Rise and Grind show. I got something special for you. I'm always trying to do something that's enlightening. Email me, Freeman at Rise and Grind Show. And as always, I'm around, partner. They ain't killed me yet. Talk to you later.